Hello, my name is Mike Schnell and I'm with FutureForward. So today what we're going to do is we're going to take a real quick look at FutureForward, why it's important for you, how you can get signed up, and then a little bit about how you can utilize the tool to get engaged with educators and students to tell them a little bit more about your career. So let's take a quick look at FutureForward and talk about why it's important here. So with FutureForward, when we're talking about it, the first thing to kind of look at is, why does FutureForward exist? Well, FutureForward exists because the top two influences on a student as they're making the decision about their future career are, number one, their parents, which makes a ton of sense. So it's their parents' friends, kind of what all those people do. That's what a student knows right now. So if you have a student whose parents work in manufacturing, that's what they're going to understand. They're going to understand manufacturing. If you have a student whose parents work in the medical industry, that's what they're going to understand. They're going to understand the medical industry and what that's all about. How is that student necessarily going to know if they're great at accounting or if accounting is a good fit for them? That's what we're going to do. So number one is their parents and their parents' friends and all those things that they see on a regular basis. And number two are those experiences. So FutureForward is really designed to help provide students the experiences that they need to understand what they can and cannot do, or more importantly, help students understand what they may want to do, what fits their aptitude, really helps them understand kind of a little bit about the experiences on what they don't see. So when we're on FutureForward, when you're on the homepage, you can see the features for both educators and employers. So as employers, you may understand the features for you, but understanding the features for educators and why it's important to them is important for you as well as an employer, as a business professional, because you can see what you may be able to offer for them. And then there's a quick introduction to FutureForward for everybody to take a look at. So the next thing you're going to do after you're done there is you're going to go up here to the upper right-hand corner. You're going to go to the portal login button. On the portal login, what you're going to see is, if you haven't registered before, you can go over here to the register button. If you have, you just type in your username and password, and that takes you to your personal homepage. If you haven't, you go over here to register. It asks for relatively basic information: first name, last name, email address, password. I will tell you the password needs to be 8 characters. It needs to have an uppercase letter. It needs to have a lowercase letter, number, special character. It's one of those kinds of passwords. So just be aware that that's what it's asking for. And then down here is the area that kind of trips people up a little bit. So when it says your profession, this is not what your company does. And we'll explain why that is here in a second. But this is about what you do specifically inside of your company. One of the things that we can do inside of FutureForward is let students know that just because you work at a hospital doesn't mean everybody that works at a hospital is a doctor or a nurse. There's a lot of people that work at a hospital in marketing, in finance, all of those sort of areas. We want students to understand that there are really a wide array of careers available at every single type of business. So it will help them understand that. So when you click that, you click my profession. Let's say I work in finance. I click on finance. It gets mad at me because I didn't have any of the other information in there yet. So under finance, we have a variety of different professions inside of finance. One thing that is important to note is this is not information that we here at FutureForward have come up with. This is actually the same information that your statewide workforce development organizations, your statewide departments of education, this is the information that they have as well. So when students take an aptitude test, this is the same information they're basically going to see on their aptitude test. So you select what you do as well. And then when a student wants to get in touch with somebody who does finance, they're going to get in touch with you, whether you work at a manufacturer, a hospital, whether you work at an accounting firm, a lawyer, kind of whatever you do, they're going to be looking for someone in financing. They can get in connection with you. So after that, you go down here, you click the I agree to the privacy policy, and then you click register your account. And what's going to happen after you register your account is you're going to get an email almost immediately. That email is going to be coming to you. Many times it gets caught in company spam filters. So if you don't see it right away, look for it at the end of the day or early the next morning, kind of whenever that information comes. If for some reason you don't get it, let whoever you're working with on FutureForward know, and we can go in there and we can activate your account for you so you can get started. So after you do that, you'll have a username and password that you've already created. You type in that username and password, you hit submit, and that's where we're going to go next. Okay, so now we've logged into FutureForward, and this is the page that we're going to see. This is basically your homepage. So when I reference homepage or dashboard, this is the page that I am going to be talking about in specific. So you can see here on your homepage, if there are any live volunteer requests. Basically, educators have the ability at any time to say, hey, I need somebody to come in and do X, Y, and Z inside of my classroom. You'd see that up here in the live volunteer requests area. You have the ability to host a student experience. You have different lesson topics that you can browse, and we'll get to that here in a second on how you can do that. You can browse different educators that are on the system. That's kind of those quick 3 things that you can do up on the top of the FutureForward page. Then you come down here to the area where your profile is. So if you haven't filled out your profile yet, there's going to be a button here that says, hey, you haven't filled out your profile. Click here and we'll walk you through it. That's basically how that will work. We'll get to that in a second. I'm also going to show you how you can do it after you've already started it, how you can kind of go back and continue to work on your profile, how you're able to do that. If you haven't joined a company, which I have, if you haven't joined a company, there's going to be something right here that says, click to join a company. It's going to take you to an area where you can find a company that's already on here, or you can create a company if your company isn't on here yet. That's something that you can do, and that's going to be right here under my company that you can do that. Then down here on the bottom, you have any topics that you can teach, schools that you're associated with, anything that you have added to your personal calendar would be listed right here under my calendar. There's a public calendar as well. We'll get to that in a second. Then down here, if you've done any events, you have the ability to do your feedback here, and all of that information on here. One of the things that is unique about FutureForward is that there's a feedback system for both educators, for students, and for business professionals, all right inside of the system that you can see kind of at any time. So you're able to do that. If you do an event, if your company does an event, all of that information is going to be in here. If you participate in an event, you're going to have the ability to provide that feedback right inside of the system. You don't need to go outside of the system to get any of that information. Okay, so now we've had a good overview of what to do when we provide feedback, kind of how that works and why that's important. Now let's drill into some of the other sections of Future Forward and how they can be important to you. So let's go up here to the network tab. First thing I'm going to want to do is I'm going to want to find educators. I'm going to want to find the educators that may be important for me to connect with. So I click Find Educators. I can see I have 610 educators that are on the system. I can filter them by the school they're a part of. I can filter them by the courses that they teach, or I can filter them by industry. So let's say I want to look at somebody that's in business management and administration. I click that right here. I bring that down to 14 educators. So now all of a sudden I have a smaller list of educators that I'm looking at, which is positive. It makes it a little simpler for me. Another way that I could do it is I could filter by radius. Let's say I'm going to go back to kind of show everybody again. Let's say I only want to see people within 25 miles of me, because when looking at 25 miles of me, I can say, you know, I'm able to drive and visit any of those educators. I'm able to go to any of those classes. So I'm going to want to do that. So I'm going to type in my zip code here, 55904. Have the ability to filter by radius. Let's say I want to do everybody within 25 miles of me. Search that through. I move from 610 to 274. So you see, it gets to be a much smaller list of educators that I may have that I can communicate with. And then I want to drill down even more. So these are the ones that are close to me. And now all of a sudden I want to filter by the industry they're a part of. And so I want to look at people who are involved in manufacturing. I search that through, and now all of a sudden I'm down to 2 educators. So if that's a quick way to kind of get to exactly who you're going to try and communicate with, to maybe go into their classroom, make sure you understand who's trying to talk to people like you as a professional, kind of all that stuff is important on there. So that's a quick look at finding educators. Finding schools essentially works the exact same way. So you have the ability to enter your zip code, filter by radius, the same way you did before. So let's say I do 55904. I want to look at that, and I want to see everybody within 25 miles of me, all the schools within 25 miles. I do that, I click search, and now all of a sudden I'm down to 25 schools that are that close to me. If I go back to filter by radius, I can see that total list, 367 schools are on the system right now. But I know that when I look at that 25 miles of where I'm at, I have 25 that I can reach out to. I know that I can go and visit kind of on a regular basis if I need to do that. The other thing you can do on the network tab is you can find companies, you can find other professionals that are in your area. The searches work the exact same way. You basically have the ability to search by how close they are to you, search by what industry they're in, or search by the company name. Anything about that is something you're willing or able to search on to take a look at. The next area we're going to go is we're going to go over here to resources. I'm going to click on resources real quick. Find lesson topics. This is actually an area that a lot of our educators are going into right now. So it's a good idea after you get logged in to go into this topics area and look at what it has to offer. The way you do that is you can filter by course if you want to, filter by industry. So let's say I'm a marketing teacher. I hit search here. Now all of a sudden I have 22 different topics that are on the system that are regarding marketing. I can look at any of these, and if I decide I want to do them, so I'm going to click on advertising analysis here. You see it's got a great summary of what it is. It says what grades it's for, it says what industries it hits, kind of all that stuff. One of the things that I can do if I say, yeah, that's something that I can go into a classroom and talk about, is click this graduation hat icon. And you see here it says add to topics I can teach. One of the things I will say is that I wish that instead of topics or add to topics I can teach, that instead it said something like, yes, I'd like to start a conversation about this, because that's really what we're talking about here. Educators are going to go there and look at it. Business professionals are going to go in and look at it. And basically what they're going to do after they connect, if you have a professional and an educator that have connected because they found a topic they both had interest in, what they're going to do at that point is just really start a conversation to say, this is exactly what I can talk about. And you say that from the business professional side. From the educator's side, you say, this is exactly what I need taught in my classroom. So you can come to a good consensus on exactly what that looks like, exactly what that means. And that's really what we're doing, is just starting a conversation through this topics feature, something really, really important to know about. So I'm going to go back to find lesson topics. And one of the other areas that I really want to make sure that I show to you is these top two buttons right here, where you can suggest a topic, basically say, this is a topic that I think we should have information on there regarding this, or creating a topic. And realistically, I would say if you're suggesting a topic, that you can create a topic and put that information on there. And basically you just put that general information that we saw before. This is kind of what the topic is. This is what grades it can reach out to. And a really good way of doing that. A really good example of how this worked well is, and speak with your FutureForward representative, your professional that you're working with about FutureForward, because one of the ways that this has really worked well is we had an educator in Southeast Minnesota who was looking for someone to come in and talk about sports marketing, basically. And we have some professionals in Southeast Minnesota that can talk about that. There was no course that had to do with that. So they said something to Marianne Smith, one of our career navigators, and Marianne went and found a professional and put together a topic. So if I do sports, it brings up sports and entertainment marketing. I can see kind of the overview of what it is, the learning outcomes, the professionals that we have associated with it. Chris Hahn is, Chris actually has a lot of experience in this. So Chris is a great professional that Marianne got associated with that. And then you had educators that are looking for that specific thing as well. So that's kind of how you did that. They got connected. Chris went into one of the classrooms in Southeast Minnesota and really taught a fantastic class about sports marketing. Was a great overview. So that's kind of how the topics feature works. The next area that I want to show you is explore student experiences. So before, remember, we looked at your calendar and said, this is your personal calendar on what you're going to do on FutureForward, or what you've agreed to do on FutureForward. What this resources explore student experiences calendar is this is all the experiences that are on FutureForward. So you can see a variety of different experiences that are available. Yellow experiences are school experiences, blue experiences are professional experiences. So once they get added, they will get added to this calendar. You can click on any of them. Like I'll click on this job shadow and you see a little bit more information about it. You click view more details, and basically gets to the point where you can register for it. You can share that experience with other people, kind of all that stuff on there, and really a great way to do that. When you need assistance, if you or your company wants to create an event and you have questions about it, make sure to let your FutureForward professional know, and they will assist you kind of however they can to make sure you get the experiences that are important for these students out there for the students to see. So back up here to resources. I'm going to go to watch career videos. This is actually one of my favorite sections to hit on FutureForward for a couple of reasons. One, because videos are a great learning tool for people to have. For example, if you have a video up here, what we've seen a lot of educators do is say to their students, okay, you're interested in finance, go find a business professional or a company that has a video out there that's about finance, and watch it. Here's a quick questionnaire. You let me know what you thought and tell me whether or not you are more or less interested essentially in going into that job after watching that video. So it's a great way to do it. You can favorite videos just like you can favorite other things by clicking on that blue heart button. But the other reason that I really like this video section is if you would have talked to us in April of 2020, there would have been 0 videos on FutureForward. And now, if you look at all the different sections, local company videos, general career videos, local professional videos, all that area, you basically have 800 different videos that are about FutureForward, 500 of them from professionals that are on FutureForward right now, that are really a great overview of what's going on in here. And so once again, you can filter by industry. I'm going to go to finance, go down here, and you see that brings it down to 7 videos that I could look at. When I mouse over the videos, it says who it's by, it says what it's about. So it's a really quick and easy way for students and educators to go in and see kind of what is available to them in those sections. So a great overview. Videos have been incredibly powerful after they got added. Then kind of at the end, you have the ability to browse a number of resources that are helpful for you about FutureForward and kind of what it's all about. I'm actually going to go back to the dashboard to show you a couple of resources or a couple of areas to find resources that I think are even more powerful than that resources, browse resources section. This area right here under guides and best practices, I really think these are great overviews that you can take a look at and see what's available. I think it's just a really good overview of what's going on. So that's a quick look at FutureForward and what it is, what it means, and what you can do with it. We can talk about more specific things as we move forward. So like, if you're a company, how do you create a student experience, all those sort of things. We'll do that at a later point in like a 201 section, and we'll post that for you to see as well. Thanks.